there is a good use for them too.
Possibly.
Okay, like possibly there's good uses. I know I've used them in patients and they're like, Dr. Kelly, that helped me so much. I can't even tell you. And it's mostly on older people also.
Yeah.
A young person. Now, I've read many different blogs about people. Had chronic fatigue syndrome and I stacked this, and this, and I was miraculously much better. And I'm like, okay, maybe I don't know the nuances of each person.
Yeah.
But for me, when I do give somebody something, that is just that's the icing on the cake.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's after I've fixed everything else.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Celluverse. My name is Alana Keneally and I'm here with one and only Dr. Keneally.
Hello, everyone.
And of course, we have my bestie, Jess Donovan.
Hello.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode. Good to see ya.
Great to see you guys.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, on this beautiful Saturday morning. It's good.
Yeah. What's going on? What's happening?
Well, we're building a lot of like software for Raina, like period tracking, helping you use hormones, helping you test your hormones on the right day. So my mind has been like really activated and excited with these new challenges ahead.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this app.
It's going to be hot. Like a period tracker that doesn't look like it was like made.
That's like purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of period trackers, there's a lot left for you to want. And I think that Raina is going to fulfill those needs.
I hope so, if we do our job right. It's supposed to be like a true hormone companion. And this is kind of tea. Like we haven't told anyone about this because things are hard. They just take a long time to build and they're hard to build.
I mean, what I've seen so far, it looks amazing.
Oh, thank you. I've sent you some mock-ups on Figma. They're fun. It's just been like, it's every desire leads to the next desire, and that excitement keeps me going. But it's uncharted territory because I'm very not used to that kind of work, building software, apps. Mm-hmm. And who knows? Like, who knows
you
what it'll
learn so
become.
much. That's the beautiful thing through any arduous process is the learning experience. That's why living in the present moment is so important, because it's like the universe comes to you and you're in that present moment. And so all your ideas are germinating all the time. So, and you just have to look at it like this exploratory possibility all the time.
Yeah.
So, and it teaches you the magic of the body. One more thing to teach you the magic of the body.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We've been testing so many period trackers. I mean, it's not like a true period tracker, but it's going to be like more than that. Like imagine a period app that actually helps. Kind of is
like a hormone tracker.
And Jess is going to be our number one user.
Number one.
If she's not, we failed. Because she's so
If
discerning.
you guys don't have one user, I am dead.
We like joke that Jess needs to open a consulting company where she just like, you bring her your product and she'll tell you if it's hot or not.
I have a lot of opinions about things.
Sorry for noticing.
That's what I'm doing constantly, is noticing. So I take my job very seriously.
It's important work.
Someone's got to do it.
I know. I have to handle the feedback well.
You always do.
Thank you.
Even if you have to stand 10 feet away from me, you take it in stride.
It's how we get better. It's how we grow.
Critique is always just...
Yeah. A way to forge us into our highest.
That's right.
And if it's coming from a place of love,
Of course.
I mean,
I feel like I don't actually take anything like that personally. We're like, whatever.
yeah. On to the next.
Yeah, exactly. How are you, Mom?
I'm doing great. I'm glad it's the weekend. And I had an interesting dinner this week. And they have this imaging called Clearly, and it's able to look at the vasculature of the heart in its finest detail utilizing AI to really determine how good or things that you might need to work on with plaque buildup in the arteries, because heart disease is the number one killer. And so it was so interesting. I came late because the traffic was so bad. And so then after we were listening to the lecture, And it was so interesting that they were using case presentation, and then the patient's on like 5 or 6 drugs. And I'm like, wow, medications, they're just using medications. And like, what is that doing to not only the heart, but every other organ in your body and your brain, etc. And so my team was there also. So they're like texting me like, Dr. Kelly, when are you going to insert and teach them something? And I go, no, it's time to just listen. And so next door to me was a guy, and he's like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so. And so I shared who I was. He goes, you're Dr. Keneally? Like, he goes, oh, no, everyone knows. She goes, I follow you. And I said, well, what do you do? And he goes, I'm a cardiologist. And I said, well, how did you pivot from conventional cardiology to now doing integrative functional medicine? He goes, I was working day in, day out, year after year after year, 24/7. And I realized like everything we're doing is kind of upside down. And I want to really prevent disease as opposed to treat illness, sickness. So he says, I took a course, started taking courses, and now I'm just, immersing myself. And then I saw another friend of mine who's a cardiologist, and I actually refer him patients because he is both conventional and functional. And then there was another guy there. So I feel like these doctors now in this small group, there was only like 13 of us, but they were all like, there was a psychiatrist there who was both conventional and functional. So I feel like, oh gosh, there's a resurrection with physicians really like asking questions and pondering what they're doing. Is it the right way? It's the right thing. And they're learning to step out of their paradigm of medicine and really like, is this working? And so it was so exciting. And I look forward to the new frontiers of medicine where we're really going to really fix people instead of treat people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What a fun little dinner.
Yeah, it was.
So casual.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But we were learning too.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, everybody just wanted to germinate and talk, I could tell. So, which was really good.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, we're going to jump into Pulse Check where we talk about the latest health stories in the world, the latest health news. And one of them is a podcaster named Chris Williamson. I guess he's kind of popular. He did like a whole expose on his health and revealed that he has mold and Lyme. It was really sad. I watched the video, honestly. I was sad about everything he's going through. And he's kind of like a health and wellness podcaster. Not really.
Wisdom talk.
Wisdom.
So he has all different, a variety of different people who are imparting their wisdom of their career, whether it's a Navy SEAL or someone else.
I've met him kind of before in Austin. I was at like a dinner, but it was like him and Mark Hyman and Max Lukavere like didn't talk to really anyone else. There was like the podcasting bros on one end of the table, and unless you had like a podcast, they wouldn't let you in over there.
Well, look at you now.
Maybe they'll let me in.
Which is counter to what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, I would not say they were like the most warm, welcoming, hello, how are you? Nice to meet you people. But it's okay. I didn't, they don't owe that to me. But
Right.
it was something I observed,
Yeah, but I think if you're why do you have a podcast? Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you have a podcast? And then you may be the host of the podcast, but then you have the person. So like if you're not dutifully interested in everything that person has to say, and who knows that the person next to you, wherever you meet, doesn't have invaluable information or identity.
Yeah.
And so I think that goes against like what you're really trying to do.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just having like a lot of those health issues, and so he
didn't have pulling the team in.
Well,
listen up.
Since I have
given the
treated
benefit of the doubt, I guess.
everything that I've treated everything that patient has.
Maybe, if he was
Chris.
nicer, he would have known about you.
So it's interesting. The first Lyme conference I went to was about 20 probably 20 years ago. And no one ever talked about Lyme. And then all of a sudden, they have the first Lyme cases. And so I go to this conference in San Francisco, and there was so many different people talking about Lyme and the things that possibly it could impart to the body. And so anyone out there listening is that Lyme can mimic over 300 diseases, okay? Not to say that you're going to go get checked for Lyme tomorrow, but it is more common today, and I guess it's more commonly being diagnosed, because this was 20 years ago when there weren't that many doctors really checking for Lyme. But now it is becoming a more prolific problem. And Lyme never exists in and of itself, because if you listen to the video, he lived in a house with mold. So that's another confounding factor. He has, and obviously environmental toxins. He's got co-infections. And it is a very, very serious situation, his situation. And then he had lots of different people, caretakers, health coaches, doctors. And so there has to be this cooperation and collaboration, because, like you kind of have to give everything like time. Like we all want to heal like today, tomorrow. And healing is a process, not an event. And I think the most important thing is that in everything that happens to you, it's a time to analyze, learn, self-examination. So because your trial becomes your treasure to others. And so I remember I had this young lady, she was 20 something, 27, 25, and I had diagnosed with her Lyme because I had looked at everything, and I'm like, I always tell that a physician should be able to analyze and not fix somebody, but analyze someone and get what's going on with them in 2 to 4 weeks. And if they haven't, they're not taking enough deep dive. And you can't find everything on blood tests. Everybody wants to find everything on blood tests, but there isn't. And so when I diagnosed her, and then she starts complaining and like, how is this happening to me? And oh my God. And I said, you're in the word crises is danger and opportunity. And I go, I need you to reframe your impression of yourself in this experience. And I said, you are going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to fix yourself. We are going to fix yourself. And so, of course, through a series of things that I had her do, treatments and things she did herself. And then after, I think it was a year or two, and I did tell her, I said, God wants you to learn about you and others. Mm-hmm. And I said, give this time. And so sure enough, after like a year or two, she says, can I come work with you part-time, Dr. Kinley? So I said, sure. I found something for her to do. And she was single at the time, no kids, no husband, anything. Anyway, so she worked for me. And then she found her husband. And then she had 2 kids, moved to Texas. And now we're talking, 10 years later. I see her once a year. She has an organic skincare facialist business in Texas. And everything she's learned, she's, using it on her family and everyone else. And so she isn't the problem. She fixed her problem. And now she isn't the problem. And she's educating empowered people how to be healthy each and every day. So it became like her life's direction.
Yeah, like her purpose.
Yes.
I think he's kind of doing that. He's taking this as
I think he's sharing it, which I think, and he is talking about like I do this and I kind of feel good, and then I do this, I don't really feel good, and that's kind of what happens. Okay, and when there's Lyme and the co-infections and the mold And then the stress of being, I think just being diagnosed as a gives you PTSD. And then you have to immediately say, I can't become my problem. I can't own my problem. This is a learning episode for me. And so, and I think he's getting lots of different input, which is good. But at the same time, you have to give each thing its time to work. Okay. And then you can't rebuild yourself in a couple months. Okay. Like if you have an earthquake in your body, an earthquake rather, it's not like you just fix it all in a month. It takes years to fix that earthquake when we have an earthquake. And it takes many people and many resources, et cetera. And so, it's great because it's educating people, I think. And he's like a real person that has like serious things, and it's impacted him in so many different ways. And so, and you realize the complexity of the body. That's why I tell everybody it's very easy to create health. It's very complex and complicated to treat illness, disease, and sickness.
Yeah, and I was looking at his protocol. I don't think he's found repeat yet.
Well, that's just, as you know, one
It's just
facet.
hard. I think without some of the guidance from his work, it's kind of shooting in the dark sometimes, it seems.
Well, he
with
has
some
lots
the
of people. He has lots of doctors. He's got health coaches. He's got a person.
I know.
A person who I think is helping him. I'm not sure who it is, but I know the doctors. But I don't.
I hope
know.
he's feeling better.
Yeah, and we just want him well. That's all.
Of course.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Chris, come to Mom. He should come see you, maybe.
Sure.
I don't really know that much about him. I've never listened to his podcast because I only listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
But that would be cool if he came. He should. I'm sure someone's told him about you.
Add her to the team.
Add her. For reals. Okay. But yeah, that's tough. That sounds like there's a lot going on. A lot of people in Austin have problem with mold.
Oh, really? Is it a moldy place?
Well, the humidity.
Oh, that makes
There's
sense.
a lot of humidity in Texas. I grew up in Houston, so there's a lot of humidity, and I think there's humidity in Austin also.
Yeah.
Right along.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have mold problems.
Right.
So they try to look for like newer builds that have like thought about that problem potentially.
Right. So there's something called bowel biology, and it's how to build. I gave a friend of mine is building a house in Utah, and I gave him a whole book of things he needs to be mindful of for shielding against EMFs and not having mold and all these things. And so, anyway, I think if you're building something, I think long time ago people built things very, very powerfully and stronger. Today they just cookie cutter, boom, build things up because of time and money and resources. And so I think there's more mild in mold. And then if there are also like moisture, so humid areas, living close to water, geographic areas with lots of moisture and everything, there's higher probability too, because mold grows in moisture. So, and then it's complicated because like we teach all of our doctors, if they have a patient with mold, okay, you've got to get out of the exposure of mold. So where is it in your house? Okay. Or where is it in your living environment? So because you can't treat the patient with the mold until they've been removed. So
My friend just started a mold company.
oh
Like,
really?
Remediation.
Oh, remediation.
And they they have to tear down the wall and be like,
Right.
yep, there's mold. But then you're like, if there's, sometimes they might get it wrong or
Right,
there's no
that's right.
mold. And now you have like a door that's,
Right.
or, you know,
Well, I tell people to hire mold dogs, and that's in my book.
mold, what was that?
Mold dogs. So they know how to sniff it out. And
Oh.
it's amazing.
That is really cool.
It is very, very cool. And I always tell my patients to videotape it because it's a fabulous,
Yeah.
but look at them at the airport. They are amazing. Like, I don't know,
I've never heard that there's like bloodhounds that sniff out mold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like amazing. So,
I've
but
seen
they have such
Yeah.
a heightened sense of smell. and they are just like this, amazing. So I talk about it in my
I
book.
wonder what the cost difference is between the like this. They like don't they like get samples and send it to the lab?
Well, you can do that. You can get samples. You can do.
There's like at-home kits.
Yes, there's a couple of kits that you can get an ERMI mold plate. You can also do that. There's a company out of Texas where you just start swabbing different areas, like you swab different area, whatever area you might think it is.
My friend did the ERMI one recently because she was about to re-sign her lease. And she was like, I'm just going to do a mold test because she lived on Balboa Island. She's like, I'm just going to, before I sign anything, I'm going to do a mold test. And I think on the ERMI like tests, they say if it's 15, it's like not livable. Right. And her house was at a 40.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And she was like kind of having like mild but unexplained like eczema that's happening. Like, and she's in her 30s. So like, and never experienced that before. And then as soon as she moved out, everything was fine. And then another friend had just moved into a place and she walked downstairs and she's like, it smells like mold in here. And so she had to have the whole thing done.
Really? I had a patient sent me, this is a physician who's outrageously had mold problems. Anyway, she moved in a new place and sure enough, they found mold. And so she wanted me to write a letter for her to, move out of her place, etc. So
I feel like mold is one of those things where it's like, it doesn't affect everyone the same.
Right.
Like, yeah. Some people just like, I feel like I would live in a moldy cave and I don't know if I would. Like,
well,
I feel
because
like
everybody's different, with their mast cells,
yeah.
And their immune system. Everybody's very different in how they respond because there are people who are more sensitive to fungus, to mold, to parasites, to everything. So it's always the individual, not necessarily the problems.
I wonder how like a certain degree of mold is pretty normal to live amongst,
right? But it's when it gets to elevated levels.
I worry about that becoming like weaponized with like even the smallest amount of mold's like
Yeah, some people will do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like this. I could see it becoming a big business. I know this company just raised like $8 million to be the mold. Like they're going to do kits. They're going to do remediation in your house. They're going to do treatment of the mold.
Right. One of my patients is, sold her mold business. That's what, she had the mold problem. She and her husband started a business and sold it about a year ago.
So
to their kids. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So their kids are running it now. So
my friends they have a like termite business, but then they also have a mold business.
Mm-hmm. So they should talk to me about all the nuances.
Got to get them some dogs.
Yeah, because it's something I treat every day, and so you want to think about like the medical side of things, right? So, like my patient who owned it, they only saw us because we understood that.
Yeah.
What's the main way you treat mold at the clinic? Like
medications.
Just medication. Okay.
Well, I had a little child come in 3 or 4, so I gave them essential oils to do. So I gave it different, and like some people can't take the medications. Not everybody can take it, but there is a specific mold, medication protocol. So you can draw your blood, and you can see if you have mold in your blood. And then, but you don't just treat the patient. You got to make sure they're not in the environment, right?
I think that's the hardest part.
And that's the hardest. It is the hardest part. Mm-hmm. So I go, look, you start out with, I have it all written up. I tell them, like, get a mold plate and or another company that sells the swabs. Go do that first. And then go, first of all, you can do your own physical exam of your house. Like, go to every place, especially under the sink, bathrooms, the place where there's moisture. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's going to be the number one place.
Yeah, or like a pipe breaking.
Or a pipe breaking, exactly. So go there, make sure, and really, and then again, if you need somebody, I love the mold dogs, so I just think they're not connected. So they just are taught how to do this. It's like drugs. Like I've watched them and examine like packages, and it's like they're just like so amazing. Like
it could be like a hot TikTok business if you're like posting the dogs all the time, finding the mold. Everyone's gonna want that.
Yeah.
That is like a content machine.
Yeah.
I actually think we should just get some.
Revive.
I thought about it too.
Oh, you did?
I did, because I was like, this is be so much fun. So.
You ever had a mold problem?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. I'm just no.
Well, it seems like if you like the people that are affected by mold, it really hits them for some like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody has a different system, and then it's also
It could be a slow buildup too, and then all of a sudden,
but also it's like, what else is going on? And then everything's related to your nervous system. There isn't anything like that's not related to the nervous system. And so if you're a more stressful person, then you're going to be more susceptible, because when you're in parasympathetic mode, you're in healing. Everything's flowing, and so whereas if you're in sympathetic drive, your body's like rigid and can't take care of you as well. So,
yeah, thoughts and prayers to Chris. Do we have time for another one, or should we do the body map?
Yeah,
let's go to the body map.
Yeah,
That
was an extensive deep dive. We didn't expect to do that on mold. Okay, so this is also a requested topic to do a deep dive on, was peptides. And they just become really popular. Like there was that article that came out, like I think last week, that was like everyone has a Chinese
doctor or Chinese dealer. Yeah.
Peptide, everyone has a Chinese peptide dealer.
Yeah.
My friend Max was featured in it.
Max.
Marchon. Mm-hmm. I guess he is a peptide dealer, and they've profiled him.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be careful with everything, because first of all, do you need the peptide? Number one. Number two, I think it's become like this, like fix all for everything, and it's not quite like that. And there's judicial use of peptides, I think. And to define peptides, it's a sequence of amino acids. They've been around a long time. It's not a new thing, but it's sequences of peptides to restore functionality to organs and glands or systems. And so I think you have to, one of the first peptides I learned about was cerebrolysine, and it's made in Austria since 1940. And so it's not really a peptide. They call it a peptide, but it's cerebrum, from the brain. And so I grew up eating organs, glands, all this kind of thing. So I grew up like tripe to help you have a better stomach. You eat tongue because that helps your digestive. You eat pig's feet because it helps your collagen and tendons. And a lot of cultures actually do this. All right. So I grew up with that kind of stuff. And then my first course that I took on nutrition was by a company called Standard Process.
I love them.
And Standard Process has been around. I think they're the oldest vitamin company. They make everything from nature. They're in Wisconsin. And when I went to their course, it wasn't just on nutrition. It was just really like biological medicine. And I go to this course and I'm like, wait, why didn't we learn this in medical school? This is vital information for doctors to know, okay? Like the building blocks of the body, like, wait, we should be. So then I really learned, and then of course took lots of courses. And then the person who was my rep is this iconic guy that we're still friends. And he started teaching me everything, and I just loved it. And they make something called protomorphogens. So protomorphogens are the building blocks of an organ or gland, and it's actually the genetic material of an organ or gland. So let's say you want to make your pancreas healthy, you take pancreatrophin PMG, protomorphogen. So they have the building blocks for like literally at everything. If you want to have better ligaments, I take Ligaplex, okay? If you want to have better heart, you take Cardioplex, and if you want better lungs. So, and this is been around for a very long time. So the first real experiment with correcting organs was this surgeon who had a patient who had parathyroid problems. And the parathyroids are the glands around the thyroid. And so there wasn't anything to fix this. So he goes and gets the parathyroids from a steer. This is a true story. A steer gets the parathyroids. He didn't even have time to do the surgery. He grinds them up and then injects the patient. In 5 minutes, the patient is perfectly healed. So people like the people been eating testicles, brain, all these things. And then standard process kind of like made it into, to repair organs and glands into there. So I think if a patient, and now I utilize peptides that I get from Malaysia, which are organ peptides. So you have 78 organs, 780 cell types. So you want to eat the organ or take a protomorphogen, or you do the live cell therapy, to repair actually an organ and gland. And one of my patients, interestingly enough, came in last week. And I hadn't seen him in a year and a half, and he's 42 years old. He came to me what he thought had colon cancer. He had colon cancer like 7 years ago, but he's been ending up in the ER like constantly because liver was going, against him. So he would end up in the ER and the doctors go, "You're drinking, stop drinking." And he goes, "I don't even drink, okay? This is against, I don't even drink alcohol." So then someone up in Pebble Beach said, "Go see Dr. Keneally." So he comes to see me as a cancer patient. He's coming to see me. But when I look at everything, I go, well, there's no cancer. So then I look at his liver enzymes. His liver enzymes are through the roof. He's all swollen in his whole body because the liver's not working. And then he's bleeding. And he's Seventh-day Adventist. And he doesn't want a transfusion. So I go, okay, I give him special ketone water, which is like salt water from France. And I give him that to raise his hemoglobin, which is something has been done for years. So that was helping, but not good enough. So I call my friend who's in hospital. I said, "You've got to fix this guy. You got to find his bleeding. I'm sending him to the ER. You got to find the bleed." Well, they found the bleed, cauterized the bleed, came back. His liver's still a problem. I go, "You know what? The best liver specialist right here in Irvine." I said, "I want you to go see him. He's 80 years old. He's seen everything." I said, "Go over there." So he goes over there, checks all of his blood, does everything. And he says, "I don't know what's," after like weeks and lots of blood, he's like, "I don't know what's going on with you, but you need a liver transplant." So he lives up close to Stanford. He goes to Stanford. They go, "Yeah, we're gonna put you on the liver transplant list." And so he calls me up and goes, "Dr. Keneally, I cannot get a liver transplant." Like, no, and no. I said, okay. So they came back to see me, he and his wife. So I said, okay, today's your lucky day because we're going to have a doctor meeting and that's what we're going to talk about. And why don't you come to our doctor meeting and talk about, live cell therapy and how to use organs to repair an organ. So sure enough, he did. And he and his wife, decided that they were going to do this treatment. So that was like a couple of years ago. Okay. And then, so he comes in last week and the whole visit was, "Dr. Keneally, I'm doing great. I'm wonderful. I'm back to work. I've been back at work. Everything's great. But everyone needs to know this. Like, what are we going to do?"
The live cell therapy?
Yeah. And he goes, like, everyone needs to know about this. Like, look, I'm living proof of.
But those aren't peptides. They're
but they consider it peptide therapy.
But they're like
live cell. They're organ,
So these are the peptides you like.
Yes, exactly.
So there's like the mainstream peptides that everyone has right now. That's like from your Chinese dealer. Yeah. And then there's your peptides, which are like originating from an organ.
Organ derived,
okay.
yes.
It's like, to the people wondering about peptides, if you want a peptide, you got to find the one that's organ derived versus just a chain of amino acids.
Right. And not to say that doesn't help, because sometimes like when patients have surgery, so they need support. So I'll give them the BPC 157 and TGF beta and give that to them to help repair because they've been injured and so they need that assistance and help. But be very careful where you're getting your peptides, where you're sourcing them. make sure it's a lab that really understands the purity, and because they can be very helpful and beneficial when patients need them.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a lot of people that are obsessed with peptides right now. They had a friend that did it, so then they started doing it. But that's the thing that like it makes me a little bit nervous because I'm like, well, where are you sourcing it from? And they're like, well, where should I be sourcing them from? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just wondering where you are. Do you know where? Like, you're putting it in your body, not me. And I think that's like the big topic. It's almost like a multi-level marketing right now where anyone could become a peptide dealer. It's like
is that right?
Yeah, like there's like people walking into salons being like, have you heard about peptides? Like it's crazy.
Well, that's not okay, because first of all, how do you know what you're fixing?
Exactly. And if you're just selling peptides, you don't know what this person's entire lifestyle, diet, whatever medications, vitamins, you don't know anything. And then these people just start taking them because they'll lose weight, they'll look younger, their muscles will be better. Like that, I think that everyone's going at it at like kind of a vanity angle, which that's not wrong, but
it's vanity and feeling good. Okay. Yeah. Also, people feeling good.
Because when you look good, you feel good.
The energy around peptides is very MLM-y.
Yeah.
Like the websites.
Yeah, like and I'm like, I'm not against, like I'm so interested in them. I'm like, I want to know more. I think the way that people are using them right now are a little bit sketchy.
You can't just do them willy-nilly. You can't say, oh, like I heard about this and like this. You should really consult with the doctor that knows about peptides, knows all facets of healing, because how do you know what you're fixing if you don't, if you don't really analyze the body? And it's
on the note on the purity, have you ever had peptides that are contaminated? Like
never.
But you're
going to the good place. So when you look for sourcing, what do you look for?
I look for FDA approval. I look for like where is your purity process and everything. Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure a lot of them can be contaminated with with endotoxin, which is like gram-negative bacteria, which is so dangerous. But
they'll get shut down right away if something that happens too.
You don't want to be that.
So you just want to make sure that they've used lots of it. So
I feel like
lots of different, and you've used it in the right context and for the right reasons. And it's not a replacement for the day-to-day healthy living by no means.
Yeah.
Okay. But
I do think people are they'll jump to peptides before they've nailed food.
Right. Yeah. You can't, there is no drug, there is no peptide, there isn't anything that's going to replace living life healthfully with the sleep, the water, the eating, the proper eating and exercise. I mean, there's nothing's going to outdo that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of influencers right now that are being like, this is like my peptide stack that I'm taking. Like, look at this little jar that I have full of and look at all my needles. And they're like so impressed to show it because they are feeling better, which is great. But it's like, okay, well, you just started taking this. You have a doctor. The people that you're talking to might not have a doctor. So, and it's easy access. Like they could go and just get what you're telling them about from the link that you're posting. And it's a little bit dangerous.
See, yes, and I think they should be drinking Clairville Farms milk before they jump to peptides.
It's true. They're probably drinking oat milk. There's a lot of them.
That's what I.
Well, okay, wait. So, what's the most popular ones right now?
BPC, I would say, is the number one.
Which there's in the Ray Pete camp, BPC is not PD at all because it raises stress activations like nitric oxide, right? Human growth hormone,
right? And
which
things
after surgery you
may want, but Ray Pete's argument is that the body has its perfect processes and rhythms of repair, and so if you're raising stress to cause regeneration, which is essentially what estrogen and HGH does, that may not be what the body's perfect timeline is.
Yeah,
right. That's why you don't use it with cancer patients.
Oh, really? You heard it here. Do not do BPC with cancer.
I do not use it because a patient. These questions come up all the time with patients, and I'm like, no, not with cancer.
That's the thing too. Is people are getting access to these peptides, and I think you said this on an earlier podcast that cancer takes 10 years essentially.
Right.
So it's you don't know where you are in your journey of life, and if you're just taking these willy-nillys without figuring out the terrain, that's risky.
Right. And like with cancer, people don't realize that cancer is like it is a regeneration process that hasn't been solved. It is like it's like estrogen just keeps, spurring things out of control. And with a healthy way of solving issues in your body, it matures and then it stops. So the concern is when you're doing all this BPC is like you're constantly raising the processes, but there's no stopping point.
Yeah, and that's why you should not take it all the time either.
Oh, that's actually important, yeah.
Yeah, so you want to cycle it, like go on, off, on, and off. So you don't keep that stimulated cycle.
Yeah.
So.
And then what, trizepatide, that's a really popular one.
Yeah. Semaglutide, tirzepatide,
Yes. So you want to be careful. It's interesting. I had a patient this week come in. She's 42, newly diagnosed with breast cancer. And so she went to Cedars-Sinai to get a consult, and then she felt like it's a robotic conveyor belt. So then she's like, well, I don't feel comfortable, so I'm going to go to another institution. She goes to another institution. It's kind of the same thing. So then I read all of her records before I went in to see her. And so I sat down with her. Hi, nice to meet you. And then I said, so when was your last dose of tirzepatide? She goes, yesterday. And I said, well, you had on your records you're going to have surgery Monday. I said, you can't have surgery Monday. You need to be off peptides for weeks before you have a surgery.
And why is that?
Because of the aspiration that can happen, because it can cause paralysis of the gastrointestinal system. So here you intubate somebody, and then they ask, yes. So she's like, why didn't my surgeon tell me this? And I said, every surgeon should know you get off peptides, weight loss peptides before you have a surgery. So when I went to Saudi Arabia, every doctor that was a plastic surgeon mentioned it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I knew it from before because when you read complications, that means you've got to take protective measures. If you're going to give patient peptides, you've got to give them protective measures for everything.
Wow.
And that is a biggie.
Yeah, that's huge.
Right. So if anyone is on a weight loss peptide and you're going to have any surgical, whether it's elective or planned, necessary, like this girl, and she goes, oh my God, I'm so glad you told me that. And then I told her, I said, also, you want to plan your surgery for the breast when your progesterone levels are at its highest. So let's get your calendar out and figure when that is also.
Luteal phase.
Yeah. And then also, here's what we're going to do to prepare for surgery, emotionally and physically. So anyway, she was happy. I said, I need you to call your surgeon right now, cancel your Monday surgery, tell him, I want you off.
And then there's the peptide that makes you tan. Have you heard of that?
Melanogen?
Yeah.
I know.
What's your thoughts on that one? I mean, of course you know all of them.
Yeah, because it's I've had a pituitary transplant. We've talked about this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this journey for me started so long ago. And so the pituitary transplant saved my life. I mean, it was life-saving. I've told the kids the story. So it's something I'm interested in. And also with aging, you guys are young, but when you age, you need a little help.
Yeah.
You need a little help. And so...
What about the tanning one, though?
The tanning one...
I want to get on that one.
Yeah, the problem with the tanning one is if you have brown spots, they're going to come back bigger.
Oh, so if you have melasma, brown spots are
Yeah, so it's going to turn really dark, and then it takes forever to fade. Now, supposedly they have a new one that doesn't do that. I haven't tried it. Haven't done it on anybody. Haven't tried it. And I'm like, I want to just stick to nature.
And tanning beds.
And just going outside and
everyone tries to say RFK's on that one, but then you see him walking out of the tanning beds and you're like, I think he's just doing it the OG way.
Well, tanning beds you need to,
there are good tanning beds.
Healthy.
You have to have the UVA.
I don't know because I've never done them because when I was young, the tanning beds were like the rage. And
do you remember when Dr. Mercola came out with his own tanning bed?
Yes. What happened with that? Is he still selling
because
them?
it like became too much of like a lawsuit issue, whatever, because he was making all these claims, which are true. In my opinion, I can say that I'm not a doctor. You can look into it yourself. But so essentially the bed has to have UVA, UVB, and the beds now, there's UVA, UVB, and red light. So then you're getting the full spectrum of light. Mm-hmm. Obviously, going outside is going to be way better every single time. Mm-hmm. That's like nature. That's how God intended it. You're grounding. You're like usually having a great time outside. But when you don't have access to that, I think using a tanning bed with all those,
adjunctive
exactly
wavelengths,
and like making sure you're hydrating your skin before you're going in. Put some coconut oil, tallow, whatever.
I do so much tallow.
Yeah. And I think that it actually can be very protective for you.
I mean,
in the winter months.
You've totally converted me, because when I've done it, I feel my mood is so much better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Now, these are healthy and safe?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't tried them because when I was young, we were just popping in those all the time.
Exactly. But like the thing
and I was like, oh, you look so cute and everything. And then that's reality. Although these are not good.
Well, it's also people abusing them though too, because like in the way that I would use them is you go in for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of like that little happy hormone, everything that's going. Exactly. And I also do the thing where the bed that I would go into, you turn off the face lamps. Like I'll put the face lamp on for like 1 minute, turn off the face lamp, and then it's just red light on my face.
Okay, so
I don't do face.
So you guys stay tuned because I'm going to go a deep dive into this.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to do your research.
Okay, I'm going to do my research.
That's essentially how we became friends. Is because
is that right? Because you both like tanning beds.
Well, because I had an idea of starting like a healthy tanning bed essentially, and then
I still think we should do it.
I know one day.
Well, stay tuned, everybody, because I'm
next time you see Dr. Keneally, she's gonna be so tan.
It's not the peptides. It's the tanning bed. Yeah.
So it's definitely, I'm scared to do those peptides again because I did it. I was like, Lord have mercy.
Those seem scary.
So it's like, no, it's not good. And my girlfriend did the same thing, and she's like, she had to go get special treatment to get them all the brown.
Oh no,
it was not good. So anyway, it's like.
Exactly. So I wonder if there's
like stick to we got to stick to nature. So
and I wonder if there's certain people that are like predisposed to have a greater reaction. Like one of my friends, she like has darker skin, so if she were to do lasers, it's like more pigment, and we're always like talking about like the different treatments for our skin tones, and if you were to take that peptide, you don't know what's going to happen.
And that's what Ray P ultimately said about peptides: is they're unpredictable and possibly dangerous.
Possibly. So and there is a good use for them too.
Possibly.
Okay, like possibly there's good uses. I know I've used them in patients, and they're like, Dr. Kelly, that helped me so much. I can't even tell you. And it's mostly on older people also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A young person. Now, I've read many different blogs about people. Had chronic fatigue syndrome, and I stacked this, and this, and I was miraculously much better. And I'm like, okay, maybe. I don't know the nuances of each person.
Yeah.
But for me, when I do give somebody something, that is just that's the icing on the cake.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's after I've fixed everything else. So.
And that's what I was saying is like, you should, before you buy peptides, you should buy Claravel milk. Like you should just get the
like get your foundations right. And then as a little treat, you can pull in a peptide. But so you want to find a good doctor that's going to help you with this.
Really has the working knowledge.
Yes. And that they're not just doing it because it's the rage.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's a fad.
And who knows about this for years. And then you want to look at the sourcing. Malaysia. You like Malaysia?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where I get... I've used several different companies.
Yeah.
And so I've used a company from Paris. I've used things from Germany. I've used things from Malaysia, different companies.
Yeah, because there's,
because it's not, everyone thinks it's new. Actually, it's so interesting.
Nothing's ever new.
Remember I talked about when I was on Brucka's thing, it's like they think that alternative medicine is what I'm doing. No, I'm the original medicine.
Yeah.
And the medicine.
You're like, I've just stayed the same. I'm just like doing what we've always done.
Exactly. So it's the medicines that are the alternative medicines.
Yeah.
Okay, that when the CDC reports that 76% of people are sick, then that isn't working. So
Yeah. We do a weight loss peptides at Rain. People always ask about that. I do think they can be really useful for catalyzing.
Yeah. And for people who need it, like, again, every individual, I had a patient who was 400 pounds. And so we did the natural way, and then she just needed a little help.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you have 10, 20, 30 pounds to lose and you're using peptides, it's like, no, get your body in order for optimal metabolism.
Well, because those 20, 30 pounds are always going to be an issue if you don't handle it correctly.
Yeah. Right. And spiritually, I think, like, I don't know, hacking weight loss is better served going the hard route because, like, you learn on those challenges, like, what works and what doesn't.
Right.
So.
Well, it's something that I've been doing a long time. So I started my practice 39 years ago with weight loss because it was a great way to get patients. And I did it from a metabolic standpoint, even back then. And I hired a registered dietitian who was an anorexic. And I thought, oh, what better person to really understand someone's battles with food than a recovering anorexic. And so we made such a great team. I'll never forget her because we were just a great team. And I did all the blood work and she did all the teaching people how to eat and how to emotionally handle eating. And so there wasn't anything that I remember a long time ago you guys are too young to remember, but when you checked out at the grocery store, there were these little calorie books. And so I
actually remember those.
You did. And I told all my patients, okay, just go, know the calories, memorize the calories of everything. And then food journals. And I told people, like, you got to know what you're putting in your mouth because most people are mindlessly eating.
Yeah.
And so, you got to do some basics. And people hate the food journals, but it's truth.
Yeah, food journals, it's like if you're not proud enough to write it down, maybe you don't eat it.
Yeah.
Because, like, there is a little, like, it's like, Instagram. If you don't want to take a picture of what you're eating, maybe don't eat it, So I feel like it is a good accountability.
Yes. And then you have to move your body to metabolize. And then, of course, people might have thyroid problems. They may have diabetes. Maybe they have cortisol, too high a cortisol. And then maybe they have fatty liver. And then they might, like I tell people, if you have fatty liver, it's very difficult to lose weight when you have fatty liver. And 40% of the population has fatty liver. So it's never, and if a doctor is not looking at you globally, and they're just going, oh, here's a weight loss peptide. Yeah. And a patient came in to me the other day and complained. She goes that, they went into their OBGYN and there was this big sign on the wall. We sell weight loss peptides here. And wait a second. This is where I went for my pregnancy. And this is where
oh my gosh, the craze about pregnant people being obsessed with GLP-1s is insane.
Do they do it while they're pregnant?
No, there's this trend on TikTok, and it's pregnant people talking about how excited they are to not be pregnant anymore and be able to go on a GLP-1. When you go to your OBs and find out that you can actually breastfeed on a GLP-1, all of but a lot of people are treating pregnancy weight loss as an issue. And when you have extra weight, there's always a reason for the extra weight. So if you just go straight to a peptide to lose the weight, you don't know why it's there. Was it there? Was it a protective thing for your baby? When you have extra weight around your hips, it's actually, fat around your hips, it's good for the baby when you're breastfeeding because it helps their brain. So it's so scary to see what's going to happen to these babies. That also, when you're on a GLP-1, they're called Ozempic babies. Have you heard about this?
No.
Well, people that were having a hard time getting pregnant, they'll go on an Ozempic and then they get pregnant. It's they get accidental pregnancies
because they lost weight and the body's healthier, or what?
I don't know what it is,
and their malabsorption and their malabsorption of all their nutrients and. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
because your gastrointestinal system starts from chewing your food in your stomach, in your small intestines, in your large, your gallbladder, everything. And when these peptides, they actually are interfering with that. So everything has to do with your digestive system.
But if they finally got pregnant, would you see that as a good thing or no, or not really because of those costs?
Well, you immediately need to
get off of it.
And optimize everything immediately. you can't be jeopardizing that 9 months. You just cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot.
No.
So you need to take every measure to have the healthiest baby possible.
Yeah, totally.
So that's, yeah, boy, wow. You know, and
crazy out there.
we've got to really examine, what we're doing, and we need to really be mindful of how everything is affecting us, because there's a price to pay usually for everything. So,
You ever taken peptides?
No.
Me either.
Collagen peptides.
you guys are 30 plus years old. There's no reason for you to
I know,
really
but
need
they're,
that.
Mom, people our age are
everyone our
taking
age.
them.
Everyone our age is on a peptide.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
They're
it's like
microdosing.
You shouldn't need
Everything.
peptides at your best age.
exactly,
I'm
but
sorry.
it's kind of like how everyone our age is already doing Botox and filler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's,
It's like always viral on Twitter. Like, this is my
Really?
peptide stack.
wow.
And I'm like, babe, you're taking an omega-3 mixed with an iron, mixed with BPC. Like, oh boy, that cocktail?
Well, and you don't
not
know,
good.
because when you're young, your metabolism is already faster than a 60-year-old. So how do you know how that's being influenced based upon, like what Ray Pete was saying, when you're stimulating growth factors that you might not want to stimulate.
Right. That's one of the biggest concerns is the stimulation of the growth factors.
Yeah. So,
Also, it's like our bodies were perfectly designed.
right.
And like, yes, there is something to like us being able to live longer and us, well, to an extent, I guess, at this point. But like, like when we're older, needing to take these measures, but like when you're young, we didn't need this. We don't need this.
No.
Back in the day, yeah, you would eat these organs.
And you did you were healthy, and you didn't have the exposure to everything, but that we have today. But you should not need that.
Yeah, I agree. I think like older people, perhaps there's a certain case for you. Yeah,
Right.
using
Older people
tools.
or extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
There are people who do
like
have
really needed to lose weight and they needed that
legitimate,
catalyst.
things to use them. So, but not just, willy-nilly. In fact, my girlfriend last Sunday, sent me, she goes, look at this doctor talking about peptides, like going to prevent dementia. I was like, wait. So I go, let me send you some stuff. She goes, I thought it didn't make sense.
No, I saw this one lady on Instagram say that I think she said there's an argument that every perimenopausal or menopausal woman should be on GLP peptides. And I mean, everyone was like, why? Not everyone needs it. Like, you should only use something, even if it's good, if you need it. Like, that goes for progesterone. Like, we talk about how amazing progesterone is. It's like, yes, it's amazing, but you might not need it. Like, that is just such a crazy blanket statement to stay for everyone. It's like, there's no nuance left in
No, and we
social
don't
media
have enough
medicine.
time with millions of people. And, I always tell people, there was a $2 billion lawsuit. Not millions. $2
For
billion.
what?
For GLP.
Oh,
So I sent my friend that. So I go,
just got to be careful.
So you got to be careful. And the doctor should be giving you informed consent about all the possibilities. When you take something, the doctor should be telling you.
But a lot of these people aren't getting them from doctors. That's the issue.
Yeah.
The websites are really...
Well,
kind
you
of
can't
like-
just be some willing. I mean, you cannot treat your body so carelessly.
I know. Well, they're doing it in the form of biohacking. These people are looking like hot and young and fit. And so they're like, oh, this changed my life. I was going through menopause and this changed my life. You have to be on it. Let me tell you all about it. And it's just like, oh, God.
Yeah, it's really scammy vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, even stem cells are like constantly, there's like fraud cases with stem
Exactly.
cells.
Oh my
Gotta
gosh,
be
like
careful.
Dr. Josh Axe, his story was
Yes.
crazy.
Same with Mark Hyman.
Same
you
thing.
know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Was that, wait, what happened to Dr. Axe again?
He got very
Was it stem
sick.
cells?
Yeah, he couldn't walk. It was like,
He was very,
Yeah.
very, very sick.
oh, yeah.
Well, Mark Hyman, I think it was stem cells, like that doctor in LA
Same thing. Yeah.
gave him.
And I don't think it's the same doctor, but
Oh, really? Yeah.
yeah, but different situations.
And
yeah.
he couldn't walk either or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't
same
quote
thing.
me.
You're right. Very, very weak, everything. So you just got to
I
be
wouldn't do stem
very
cells.
careful.
I think
And
really careful.
those are two people that are like doing the research and going to the best of the best. So it can happen to anyone.
Yeah, there's always like those comments on TikTok. It's like, being poor has saved me so much.
So true.
That's got to do.
So true. it's like there's this level where you're like taking the worst things ever and then peptides and then like stacking on. It's like more is not always more.
Right.
Yeah, there's also there's like the TikTok theme. It's like of being like, people always say don't judge until you've, walked in their shoes, but I would never get my peptides from a Chinese dealer, like.
Yeah, but there are extenuating circumstances,
There's always room for nuance.
I remember Alana had a friend who, had a very serious complication from ulcerative colitis, and he also took the COVID vaccine during, and it was like a whole like perfect storm. And then they said, "Oh, we can't make you better, so we're just going to take out your colon." And like, he had a very special situation. So, and that's what made him dive into health and see all the.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that perfect storm.
Yeah.
Years ago, I did buy BPC, and I remember it smelled so disgusting. I was
Really?
I couldn't use it, and it was so expensive. It smelled like pepper, like peppery.
It smelled so disgusting. It smelled like pepper.
But I don't think pepper smells good. Like no, and you rub it on you.
I don't like white pepper. White pepper smells so bad.
It's very intense, and I was like, this is disgusting, and I threw it out.
Well, saved you.
Yeah, that was like a long time ago. And the website was even scammier than they are today because they're branding them better. Like I've heard some people, like I'm pretty sure Hims and Hers, like the CEO or some telehealth CEO was like, peptides is the next frontier. And I'm like, we're devolving.
I know. Yeah, because people just, they're always looking for the panacea.
Yeah.
And the panacea resides inside of you.
And anything where like you just have to have a whole bunch of needles in your house as like a 20-year-old doesn't seem necessary.
No. I will say my friend tweeted, it was like, peptides is really just becoming a word for research chemicals. So I feel like when people hear this, they might be like, oh, they're not into like maybe experimentation or developing new tools. And it's like not that at all. It's like being really careful and strategic with what you insert into your body.
Right. You want to be very careful and strategic.
Yeah, your body's a temple.
And look at the good, bad, and ugly of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, there is sometimes a use for things. Again, there is. Like sometimes people have to have surgery.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have to take medications.
This is such a good line from Repeat. Forcing repair through stress signals can mimic regeneration, but risks chaos if the underlying metabolism is weak. So as anything, like the vessel in which you present is so important to what you interact with and what you
That's
take.
why when you need to have something done, you should be creating the most optimal health.
So true. Okay. Any final thoughts on?
Just consider the source.
Well, we'll continue this discussion too.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's going to be so much that comes out.
Yeah, maybe we can review someone's like peptide stack. My friend Max is going to be like, wow.
Why does he do peptides?
Yeah, I'd like to know because he's less than 30.
Yeah.
I would like to know. He didn't call me.
And we're advisors in Superpower. This is company Superpower. Yeah, I don't know. If Jess and I don't take a mom uses her special.
Very special selected organopeptides.
Yeah, Jess was looking at her fridge. She was like, what in the biohacking is this?
Yeah. I loved it. Every minute of it.
Yeah, but she has her own, you have your own like experimentation and rituals. And I also think as a doctor, you're doing such an insane level of experimentation because you walk the walk, And like, I think we just are nailing the basics right now with our Mother's Market and Erewhon food and rituals, everything else. Anyways, on to, what's it called? House calls. This question, can you talk about fasting, especially for women that aren't having periods anymore? It's a good thing. How long and how often should we fast? Thank you for your question.
So is she older? Is that why she doesn't have a period? Or
is she too thin? Is she running marathons? Is she?
Yeah, like did she lose her period or?
Right.
Because if the period is lost, fasting's not going to be the first thing that we do.
No, you wouldn't want to do that.
Oh, I don't know. She didn't say, but I asked her.
So fasting has been around. It's almost probably in every religion.
Yes.
And fasting can be very, very beneficial. Some people fast for a day. Some people fast for 3 days. The longest I've ever had a patient fast was 30 days. And I'll tell you one very clear patient that I had who came in and overweight, AAA personality, and fatty liver. He had bladder cancer. And so he came to see me for a second opinion. And so I said, well, looking at all your results and everything, you would benefit from a fast. He says, well, how long? I said, how long do you think you can do it? And because usually patients know what they can do. So he says, I can do 30 days. I said, okay, you do 30 days and come back and see me. So he did. And the bladder cancer was gone.
That's crazy.
And so, of course, now everybody who fasts isn't going to, I've had patients fast and they didn't get rid of their cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. But this was small cancer, and he was able to. I still see him to this day, and he's doing great. But fasting, I've had patients who can't get their sugar down and their triglycerides down, and I'll go, oh, look, why don't you fast 2 days a week? And in 3 months, sugar's all recalibrated, triglycerides are lower. And I tried all these other things before I even tried that, okay? And if people can't lose weight, I'll go, look, I want you to fast once or twice a week and do that, and let's see how you do in 3 months. And usually most people lose weight.
But do you think some of the benefits are from them stopping maybe some negative habits that they were doing and just cutting those off rather than the fasting itself?
Right. Well, when you have a fast, your body is going into autophagy. It's cleaning up. It's going into repair, garbage cleanup, and everything. So, of course, yes, now they're being mindful of more of what they're putting in their mouth because they have to, because they usually have something really serious usually going on. It might be cancer, it might be metabolic disorder, it might be diabetes, it might be heart disease, etc. But there always is an element when you are putting forth cognitive effort into and being mindful, as opposed to just okay, I'm just going to grab a bag of Cheetos, I'm going to drink a Coke, I'll have those 3 cookies. A lot of people don't realize they just had 3 cookies. So you're right, unless you're examining. That's why double-blind, random clinical trials. It's what did you go home and examine everything that the patient's doing? No, you took that, I'm going to give you this one drug for your blood pressure, and then I'm going to see you in a week and see how your blood pressure's doing. Never paying attention to the 23 hours and 30 minutes that you were doing when you weren't taking the pill, right? So that's why, it's very hard to evaluate if one thing works. I do believe, because there's a great documentary called The Science of Fasting. And I've read a lot about fasting in all different kinds of books. So I think it can be a very beneficial way for many different clinical issues. Although at the same time, patients ask me, they weigh 110 pounds and they go, Dr. Healy, should I fast? I said, absolutely not. Okay. So obviously if they're 110 pounds, they don't.
There's nothing to fast.
Yes. So, but some people ask me that, and I'll go, no, you need to eat. Mm-hmm. And so fasting has its place. I know that they have actually retreats, places where they go and you go and fast, okay?
I think there are some issues with fasting, though. It can raise your stress hormones.
Exactly.
Which, if you have cancer or something, you definitely don't want to be adding stress to your system.
Yeah, it can be stressful.
And I also think, in ancient times, if you fasted, it would mean you weren't a good hunter. And I also think it, spiritually puts you into, this scarcity mindset.
I think in some ways, yes, but, they used to do it for spiritual reasons too.
Yeah.
So if there's a spiritual component to it that's bigger than the food itself, and you get nourishment from something else, you can be nourished.
Yeah. Well, under religious context, isn't it to like, what is really the purpose there? Like,
Purity. It's purity. You're purifying your body. So that's usually the spiritual intention.
and isn't it to like honor God in a different way?
Also,
like
taking that moment in time of like, really connection with God and cleansing your body, etc.
So I agree. Like, and maybe there's like there's important.
Right. Like fatty liver, like those people would benefit from periodic fasting. I don't like drastic fasting because like when people are like this gentleman who had the bladder cancer, he was, very overweight.
Yeah.
And high blood pressure, cancer, high sugar levels, fatty liver. He had everything going on. I go like, you need to just stop. Because, this is a guy who was drinking like wine every day. Everything wrong every day. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe there's a purpose for it for people that can't find your word equanimity.
Equanimity, right.
Mm-hmm. They need these like hard stop rules to sort of keep them in order.
He says, I need it. Then that's exactly what he said. He goes, I need a gun to my head. I'm that kind of person. And he still does. Like, I still have to like be hardcore with him,
Because I do think, when you're not nourishing your body, like when women are going on fast and they're not eating enough calories, that have a huge cascade of problems too. Not only like physically, but mentally, I, for one, was obsessed with that app when it first came out called Zero. This was like OG of fasting apps.
Oh, really?
And all it was is like you just click it and you like...
Don't eat.
Yeah. You like see how long you can make your... And it was terrible because I was like binging because I knew I was going to go on a fast.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Oh, that is horrible. Yeah.
So, like, I've been there, done that, and I just find, I don't fast at all anymore. I just eat as I, like, and I'm hungry, I'll just eat.
That's how I am. I don't fast. I have fasted. I've done it. Oh, yeah, I've done it. I always do everything because, like, that's how I learn.
Got to try it once.
Yes, I got to do fasting. I did the very famous, you probably know, Master Cleanse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I've done that. I always try it all because it's, like, fun and, great to do it. And I was, like, wanted to see how long I could not eat. And I lasted 3 days. And so I was like, okay, I can do it. So, but I just eat now when I want to. And I just eat when I'm hungry. I don't.
It's very intuitive eating.
Yes,
I feel like there's a lot of people that don't have that intuitive, voice. So they have to almost quiet all the voices by not eating to find their middle ground. So, I'm not in a place where I promote fasting anymore. I was younger in my like early 20s and I had like acne and I was like trying to figure out like what was going on. I would fast every Monday. It was like my like reset, and I really enjoyed that time. But that was something I got to do when I was like young and single, and I'm not in that place anymore. Recently I've done a few milk fasts, which I really enjoy and I love because you are fasting by not bringing a lot into your body, but you're getting your fat, protein, carbs. And it's a beautiful experience. So
interesting. Yeah, fasting is very anti-Pete because it puts your body into like, it's all about your metabolism. And so anything that like slows your metabolism down.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah. Well, that's what I tell people, like going on a 500 calorie a day diet for extended periods of time, you're teaching your body how to be a Volkswagen instead of a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah, it puts your body into like conservation mode.
Yes. So you want to be careful.
Yeah, you want to keep your metabolism young and healthy and robust.
Yeah, so if your issue's bigger than the fast might be helpful. But if you're just an average person that doesn't have a lot going on, I think the fast might do more harm.
Yeah, it can raise cortisol levels. I agree. But she did respond. She said, I'm 40 and I haven't had a period in 8 years. So I was diagnosed with PCOS and then it completely stopped. And this was the lady that was asking about fasting.
So she sounds like she has a problem with her hypothalamic pituitary axis. And so she needs to get some
There's
order.
a peptide for that.
Yeah, she would be like good with cyclical progesterone. She needs to check her CRP, her marker for inflammation, check her insulin and fasting sugar and hemoglobin A1C, and check her stress levels and, do like a whole deep dive. And because there's something, and make sure some doctor can check all her hormones and check
Yeah.
her pituitary and everything. So make sure that she's making the hormones she needs.
Yeah. So I don't know if we would think about fasting first and foremost.
Right.
Sometimes
Especially
we're-
for her.
Yeah. Sometimes we're like looking in the
That
wrong
might be
part of the
worse
forest.
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think
there's
it's-
much
yeah.
more to look at. Nothing is so simple.
Right.
So like, why haven't you had a period? And no, that doesn't make sense.
Since she was 32.
You know.
Shoot.
Yeah, so
but
that
still-
doesn't make sense.
and
So
yeah,
we can turn that on. We can turn that on.
can turn that
We
around.
really can turn that on with protomorphogens and
Nourishing the
You're
body.
eating-
40's a spring chicken.
yeah.
Totally. 40's the new 50. Or wait,
Yeah.
50's
The new 30. New 20.
So,
But yeah, so maybe not fasting. There's pros and cons
Right.
to that, but nourishing the body, keeping your body. I mean, yeah, you want your metabolism to be like when you're young and you can eat anything, and so trying to keep that state of.
well, that's not
Youthfulness.
true because 1 out of 3 teenagers has prediabetes.
Well, maybe not now,
So,
but like
like,
an ideal
It's
state.
somebody's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I read. it's not a
Anyways,
good-
we'll keep talking about fasting, and that's a good question. And thanks for sending that in. All right. Anything else before we sign off till next week?
no,
No.
lots to
Love and
talk
light.
about soon.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Celluverse is the podcast where we get real about what's making us sick and what it actually takes to get better. Hosted by Alana Keneally, Jess Donovan, and Dr. Lee Aaron Keneally, this show pulls back the curtain on mitochondria, metabolism, hormones, toxins, cancer, and all the stuff your doctor shrugs off. We dig into the science, but also the lived experience of what it means to be healthy in today's world.
Just a reminder, anything discussed on this podcast is not medical advice.
And nothing can actually harm you if you're pure of heart.